Very warm welcome to you, Sweet Pea. You got your fluffy slippers on for this one. We're going to see why do retailers get trapped at market tops. There are so many answers, but if you just fail at one of them, then you're the retailer without even knowing. You say, no, I can't be. My targets are much higher than everybody. I can't be a retailer. You see, we're going to go deeper now, friends. What happens is at the tops, everybody thinks they are a bigger believer if they have higher bull targets than everybody else. That's what everybody believes. The targets get higher and higher. The crowd reinforces itself. No one wants to leave. It's not because they're silly. It's not because they don't know what they're doing. It's just because of the emotions. We are programmed to do this. We're literally programmed. When dopamine, oxy, or the community bonding stuff starts hitting us, we don't want to quit. As humans, we search this. So when it's finally coming, you don't want to end it. Of course, that is where the Dingleberries come out. Because the Dingleberries are actually selling that whole time while telling everybody, yeah, we're going to go up higher. Another 3x, another 5x, another 10x from this point. Of course, look how fast we got up here. You think we can't do it again? That's what everybody's saying. Especially it came to Bitcoin. I mean, we can go back to Bitcoin. I remember what everybody was saying, including me thinking this. I'm like, well, 0% interest rates, infinite QE money printing, 16 trillion in negative yielding bonds. 16 trillion. Literally negative yielding bonds. You put in money, you get back less in the future. And then we stop at around 50. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we would go up so fast for the market to show you, yes, the bull trend is now starting for us, then it's over. You see that? Over. That's why so many people got screwed, wrecked. There were insiders selling here while they were telling everybody higher targets. 125,000, 150,000, 400,000. JP Morgan had a $180,000 target. Citibank had 300,000. They all came out. On one hand, you want to think they're deep insiders and they were selling. On the other hand, I've heard so many stories over the years. It doesn't matter how big these institutions are. Whatever they want, they'll find the way to get that target. Whatever it is. But all that matters is, what's the dice going to roll? Is it going to be we stop there or we don't? You know, when you roll a dice, if you bet on any number except 6, like you hope it doesn't roll 6, but you know, there's a chance it rolls 6, man. So that's what happens with markets. Markets are chaotic because we're dealing in short terms. We have a movement upwards. You eventually know the movement's going to continue upwards if you take a long enough time frame. And everyone says, oh, don't worry. Yeah, but it's a long way down, man. It's not anything short. So we got to be aware of this. People will raise their targets at the tops. I mean, go back to Bitcoin. We went up here so fast. We were saying, well, you think we couldn't do just another little 2x from here? Look how fast we got up here. I mean, look how fast we went up there. Bang. From August to February, like, look at this time. Never in your wildest dreams you think when we actually started really moving here, never did you think in 6 months, like, wait a minute, they've been printing money. This is infinite printing money. They just got started. How the hell is this the end? That was the end. After 3.5 years, it was finally over. You know, actually, it was really over. I mean, like, just here. That's it. It was here just 3 months. 90 to 120 days. About 4 or 5 months. Crazy. 3.5 months of going down and pain. 3.5 years. So 36 months, basically, to 40 months of just going poopy to McPoop town. And then you have 3 to 4 months of where it gets fun, but that's actually the end. What a skeptical, sad life you have to live in markets where you're like, oh, everyone's getting happy again. I guess bad things are coming. But that's what happens. This is what happens. We can't argue with it. So everybody becomes a believer, right? As the prices go up. And then we reinforce it because of the speed it comes up. It starts thrusting upwards. Thrusting in the direction of success. And then you find out the truth. The truth in the bear markets, friends. The truth is that Firstly, you're my friend. You are not a disciple of the soy. You're a disciple of high protein. And you understand this. If you are a true devout believer, you are actually the person buying aggressively during the fear and depression. That's the believer. The believer isn't the dude or dudette who puts a $500,000 Bitcoin target at the top. When market prices go up, you're not a bigger believer just because you raise the targets. I can put the targets right now. I'll go, yes, Bitcoin is going to $2.5 million. Does that make me a believer? Doesn't make me anything. I'm just a person who said words. All that matters is, where do you get out? Do you ever get out? You know what I found interesting? This is quite actually sad. A lot of the loudest people, they're the ones who actually capitulate. I don't know why. It's something weird about it. Maybe it's some sort of like human type of emotion. You know, interesting what we found out from the Celsius hack, friends. When Celsius was pumping up the price here and FTX, what was disastrous is when the capitulation happened right there were leaked databases of Celsius. And this is where it's kind of funny that a lot of the loud Bitcoin Maxi proponents, buy and hodl, they were actually selling. Yeah, they were selling. And what's even more offensive was they had Ethereum. They actually owned altcoins. They were Bitcoin Maxis in public, but they had altcoins in their portfolio. They had poop coins, they had Ethereum. Isn't that fantastic to know about? So words are just words. We've got to look at the actions. You know, my favorite action is you confirming our friendship. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, press the bell button, all. I appreciate every single one of you. We're here to make sure you don't get screwed in the next cycle. Life's trying to kick you in the nuts, even when you're down. I have this cute Peppy here blessing this little Wojak, saying, yes, yes, come here. Yes, yes, yes. You got to remember, it's hard to buy when there's fear and depression. It was hard, like many other things. It was hard for me to go and tweet every single day, 15 times a day, when FTX was collapsing, and I was clapping, saying, wow, the bear market's over. It's actually over. Congratulations. The show is here, and now it's finished. The writers have finished off the show season. We're going to start a new one now. The only person saying that, the only one saying that, okay? If you notice, even industry respected individuals, they started saying it around here, okay? So even they were a bit, by the way, you got to have an appreciation of this. Look how many days it took them. I'm going to zoom in for you. Look how many days. I was literally calling it on the exact, like as it was happening, like right here. Right here, right? So you're probably wondering, why was I calling it right there? It was because I was sniffing very hard and I was sniffing every day, and I knew we did not have enormous leverage positions. So everybody was already wiped out from the Luna. This was the capitulation, okay? There was no giant buildup of open interest and all these other positions and everybody really betting on 29K. Everyone was so morbidly depressed. Then you had the final kill shot here. But we did not have a 2018 style capitulation like what we'd had with BitMEX. So it's from friendly information for you. So this entire candle down was just BitMEX liquidations coming down. Liquidations straight for like 5 days straight. Bang, bang, bang. Everybody was just so leveraged, just kept dragging itself down. But we did not have that there. So that's what I was able to see. I was able to feel it. I'm here 18 hours a day. I might as well make myself useful for you, right? Tongue in cheek, friends. I'll do this for free. No casinos here, no leverage trading in front of your face. When did the industry giants, the people who had reputations to protect, they started talking about it here? Why was I talking about it here? We're ahead of the game. So that's why I'm fully prepared when it's time to get out. I'm going to be a bit early. Look how early I am, man. So early. You know, I've got to show you an appreciation of this, friends. The Coinbase top was up here. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It still took like 6 weeks for the damage to come. And then up here, even if you were early, right, it still took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it started talking like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks. So I'm now fully prepared. If I'm like seeing Euphoria, I'm like, okay, well, I know, okay, it's not going to drop today, but it could be like just 2 to 3 months to go. That's it. Okay. I'm fully aware of this. It's very interesting is I've done self-tracking for myself, mental notes, and I've noticed I've been able to call stuff super early, and now I know exactly how early I am. I'm roughly early 2 to 3 months. That's what I found out. So it's almost beautiful. You got to find your own margin of error, and you go, okay, I'm usually early by a couple of months. So now I factor that in. That's why when I was calling it down here, I promise you, I knew, I'm like, okay, if I'm about 2 to 3 months early, I wonder if this means we actually start rallying in January. And I was in disbelief. I was like, oh, really? Are we just going to get a candle just first week of January slice upwards? And then we did. I was like, wow, that's a bit interesting, right? So that's why I'm talking about these targets here. And it's very interesting because I get asked this a lot about PulseX, okay? So PulseX, DEX coin for Pulse Chain. Of course, a lot of people sacrificed for it. Welcome, welcome. So I get asked a lot, what would it look like if PulseX went up 500x? So a lot of people will just say these numbers out, 10,000x, 1,000x, 700x, 800x. But the numbers mean nothing. We're just saying a number in the air. All that matters is where's Bitcoin and Ethereum and where we're going to stop. That's it. We're just taking a guess, just having a punt, people just throwing words out. So people are trying to virtue signal by saying 10,000x. But what they don't know is they think they're doing you a favor, but they're actually poisoning you without knowing. Because what they're doing is they're making you complacent. Because you're like, oh, how much did you put in? Oh, I put in $1,000, but you could have put in 10. Okay, I put $1,000 in. All right, well, now you're going to get complacent because you're like, yeah, of course they're going to do 1,000x, baby. That's $1 million for me. What if it doesn't play out? Think about all the people who are waiting for $200,000 Bitcoin up here. If only they could go back in time and buy back all the Bitcoin at $7,000 to $10,000, right? So now you got to learn from people of the past. That's what I've done. So if PulseX did 500x, from the top 120 sacrifices, okay, because of the volume bonus, they got a 2x volume bonus. That's what I did. I found PulseX lead. They would all be billionaires, the top 120 people. Okay, so you can go to pulsexlead.com and you can see here, top 100 people is 1.94. You can go down, the next 100 people are basically almost a billionaire anyway. They're like worth 800 million, 700 million. So you can effectively, this number's a bit conservative. It would be like the top 250 people have over $800 million minimum. Near billionaires. Okay, that's a lot. So what I wanted to do is, before I even looked at this number, I go, okay, let me go see Ethereum. How many millionaires are there in Ethereum, for example? And what I found out is Ethereum, if you go to Ethereum, etherscan.io, etherscan.io/accounts, ACCOUNTS, you can actually see all the Ethereum accounts, how much ETH everyone has. And I went and had a look here and I can show you, right? You need 500,000 Ethereum to be a billionaire, roughly. Not many people out there. So there's about 25 people. I'm just guessing 25. The number's less. And of course, there's split wallets, etc. But as it goes up, there's going to be more. But just to give you a rough idea. So this is what the world has to look like if you are saying 500x. So I've got to clarify. I don't know what the future is going to hold. Okay, I don't know how high we're going to go up. I don't know if we're all going to be. I don't know if a comet's going to hit Earth. I'm just saying, before you make a convicted bet and you decide on your allocation, you have to know what type of world you're betting on, right? So there are people who said SHIB is going to hit $1. Okay, well, it's very interesting. I'm sure you know this too, friends. You're going to smile when I say this. The same people who say market cap doesn't matter, it's a vanity metric, the same people who say that also say that the people who think SHIB's going to $1, they're stupid because they don't understand market cap and liquidity. So they're the same thing. They are morphed in the same thing. I found it very funny. It's like, well, market cap for us doesn't matter, but market cap for you matters. It's funny. This is not new, okay? Wall Street did this in the late 1990s. They do this at the top of every single tech bubble, stock market bubble. They tell retailers, no, market cap doesn't matter. We're growing, okay? There's another 2 to 3x left. That's how they get retailers at the top. This happened in train stocks, 1890s. This happened in the roaring 20s, 1920s. This has happened in every single stock market boom and bull market ever. This is what happens at the top. This is a sign of the top. People getting in just because they believe it's going to go another 2 to 3x. So now you just have to decide, right? You just got to decide for yourself, how likely do you think it is? Like, how many people do you think are going to trim off? How much do you think they're going to sell? Where do you think they're going to sell? And really, you don't even need to know all of these numbers. All you got to know is you go, okay, well, if you have a small, tiny allocation and you believe something's going to go 500x, I've done the homework here for you. I'm saying, okay, well, you're saying to me that 120 people near him will be billionaires. And of course, people will say, well, no, some are going to sell. But then you could say, well, our liquidity is bonded to Pulse Chain. So now you've got to add the Pulse Chain people. And then you say, no, but that doesn't count. But then I say, okay, but then you've got a liquidity bond with PHEX as well. So you got to understand these numbers here. We can't just go out and say, well, Doge is hitting $100. Why is it going to hit $100? Like, you have to see it in your mind. So remember, I'm doing this to help you because there are people, they're fake, okay? They're fake. They're going to say, well, the bigger the number, the better. Of course they are, but that doesn't really matter. You know what matters? All that matters is how much were you buying in the depression, all right? You know, I want you to, my final message for you, friends, go back to every cycle, okay? Who made the most in every cycle? It was the person who was skeptical and paranoid. Every single cycle. The previous one, 2020, 2021. Bull market, 2020. Accumulation, 2019. The person who sat there saying, you know what? A lot of people are telling me 250K Bitcoin. They're telling me that. But what if we only stop at 50? They might say, well, I'm very skeptical and I'm very paranoid and I'm a schizo. So if I increase my position size by 5, maybe I'll be in a better spot just in case I get scammed. And that's exactly what happened. Now, you don't know that it's going to stop here, but you're in a much better position. You are increasing your probability that when there are euphoria signs, because you have a bigger bag size, you can identify euphoria. You might say, wait a minute, Kevin O'Leary, he was bagging out Bitcoin 2 years ago. Now he's cheering for it? That's weird. Michael Saylor, leverage buying the top. All these other things coming. Katy Perry with her fingernails again. The crypto fingernails. You see what I mean? Like, when you're skeptical and paranoid, you end up doing the best in markets. That's it. Because you always have this respect that thing. The rug can just get pulled under you right away. All right. So remember, I could just be saying everything's going to do 10,000x. But what does that do for you? That does absolutely nothing. All it does is just put a giant number up there. All right. Giant number in your head. So my goal is I'm here to win the game. Not here to say, well, the target's big. For me, for other influencers, winning the game is getting more views. For me, winning the game is, you know what? Life is full of dangers and pitfalls. But if I can help just one person out there, you, to be friendlier, wiser, and smarter, and get some fluffy slippers, we're going to be in a better place tomorrow. Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Tell mom and dad we're still going to make it. And we are the devout believers because we were buying when it counted the most at the bottoms. Catch you in the next one.